Mr. Buehler, it's Mr. Buehler, coming at you. Buehler, it's Mr. Buehler, it's Mr. Buehler. Oh boy, here he comes.
Hey Cougars, welcome back to the Cristo Rey Columbus podcast. I'm your host Vivian, and I'm here with
Kathleen, Asiatu,
Riley.
And today we're going to be having a conversation with Mr. Buehler. You guys may not know this, but he actually has a PhD in agronomy. Mr. Buehler, would you like to explain a little bit more about yourself?
Sure. In agronomy, for people who don't know, which I guess is probably a lot of people, that's the study of crop science. So when there are different ways to categorize plants, and I specialized in crop plants, which are those typically raised by large farmers. And in the United States, it's primarily corn. Yes, corn.
I see a lot of cornfields.
Yes, corn, soybeans are the biggest in Ohio and the biggest across the U.S. And then also wheat and cotton would be the other main ones that I worked on. A few other smaller crops as well, but mostly in those areas. Yep. And then the goal in agronomy is basically crop improvement. So that involves, a lot of it is heavily focused on improving the amount of food you can produce per land unit area. And then other things we try to do is improve things like pest control, insects or weeds.
It's funny because I actually knew that you had experience in science before this, because I remember I was in biology and you were helping me like with some of the questions, and I was like, oh my gosh, you're like really good at this. And you like told me about like, you know, your background in science, and I thought that was like really cool. It
was very fun. Yeah, I enjoyed it immensely, and I've liked, my father is a biologist also. So I grew up around, he was a very good man, very good father, and a biologist as well. So I grew up, having a father who taught me how to think, who was very interested in biology.
What did your day-to-day life look like in the field of agronomy?
New vocab word unlocked.
So it changed over time. So when I first started, I was very actively involved in directly doing field research, which is what it sounds like. It's research actually in the field, so it's outside, comparing things like different kinds of corn or different kinds of soybean or different mechanisms of weed control or different mechanisms of insect control. And we would plant the trials, maintain them so that, the bugs didn't eat them, protect them as much as we could, harvest them, and then probably the primary data we would be interested in would be yield, which is the amount actually produced. So then early in my career especially, I was involved very directly in doing the research. And then over time, I moved into different leadership roles where I was more supervising other scientists. And most of my career was actually on the management side. Always in research, but in research management.
Hi guys, it's Kaylin. Next week is Halloween, but did you know there's a Catholic connection to Halloween and the Day of the Dead? Well, let's get Mr. Creo, Miss O'Connell, and Mrs. Lawfer-Swallerham out here to explain a little bit about that.
Hey everyone!
Hey guys! Hello!
Mrs. Lawfer-Swallerham, I heard you used to be a freshman theology teacher. Even though you're not a theology teacher anymore, you still know your theology, right? Could you help explain the Catholic connection to Halloween?
Sure. So, to understand the Catholic connection to Halloween, we first have to look at the day after Halloween, which in the Catholic Church we call All Saints' Day. This is actually a really old holiday in the Catholic Church. It dates back to the 4th century as a way of honoring the martyrs in the Catholic Church, the people who died for their faith, and the people who we believe are already in heaven with God. But the day before that was referred to as All Hallows Eve. Hallow meaning holy people. And so it's the evening of the holy people, the day before we celebrate all the holy people who are in heaven with God. So as time has gone on, that is now referred to as Halloween.
Yeah, and to add on to that,
we want to remember that when we die, Catholics believe that death is not actually the end. So all of the holy men and women who have come before us want us to join them in heaven. So they're cheering us on, they're praying for us. So when we celebrate Halloween, sometimes it's helpful to remember thousands and thousands and thousands of men and women who have lived on this earth, who have lived life and know how hard it is, are right there with us, cheering us on. Think of it like cheerleaders. So when we go to celebrate Halloween, it might be helpful to find someone who is like you, who you can relate to, that you can basically invite to be on your team or to be your cheerleader as we walk through life.
Okay, so Mr. Carrillo, All Saints Day happens on November 1st, as well as the Day of the Dead. Could you give us some more information on the Day of the Dead?
Something that we have to remember with Day of the Dead, it's kind of like a respecting and a remembering of our ancestors who have passed on to the next life. And even though there might be some people who don't celebrate it, like myself, my family doesn't celebrate it, but it is a great importance of celebrating of culture and of remembering the people who have lived on before us and who live on after us. And so it's a great time to remember all the great memories that we've had with them and to really focus on memories.
Thank you all so much for the information that helped us understand the importance of the holidays surrounding Halloween. Now, let's get back to the show.
What made you want to get a degree in agronomy?
I was very, very heavily and positively influenced by my grandfather.
Oh.
And for those of you here, you'll see I wear a diamond ring. It was actually my grandfather's ring. It's probably from a possession standpoint, probably the possession I value the most.
It looks really cool.
It is.
For those who can't see.
It's not necessarily a great ring, but it was my grandpa's. And from the time I was very little, like 5-6 years old, my favorite thing to do, and I still miss him, but my favorite thing to do was just walk around behind Grandpa and help him in his garden. He had a big garden. He grew sweet corn, flowers, green beans, tomatoes, and he had a couple apple trees and cherry trees. And I loved my grandpa, and that was really what got me interested in it. So I started like having my own garden when I was probably 8 or 10 years old and kind of continuously involved. So I kind of knew I wanted to study plants from the time I was pretty young.
Oh, that's really cool. My grandma actually also has like apple trees in her backyard, and blackberries too, I think.
I have apple trees in my backyard. We have a bunch of apple trees and several cherry trees. Very challenging to grow them, and I almost never get any apples because I did not know this, but squirrels love little tiny apples.
Oh.
So I grow a lot of little tiny apples for the squirrels. I think they make cider out of it, but I'm not sure.
I've had similar experiences like growing stuff, but I'm not as experienced as you are. The only thing I've really grown in my yard is tomatoes.
Okay, yeah.
Tomatoes, and that's it.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Oh, I'm growing
tomatoes.
tomatoes.
And has that gone well? Has that gone well for you?
Depends on what year it is.
Yes,
sometimes it goes
absolutely.
really well, sometimes it goes really poorly, but it's just a roll of the dice sometimes.
That's what it is. It's the same thing in farming. It's the exact same thing. Some years are really good, and it's hard to figure out why. Some years are just, like this year for us in the garden was terrible. Absolutely terrible, beginning to end.
So why did you choose to come to Cristo Rey and celebrate the freshman?
So once I retired a little over 5 years ago, and I wanted to do something useful. I wanted to do something very different than what I was doing. And one of the things I like to do in my spare time is I like to hike. And I had been actively praying about what should I do next, because I've been blessed with good health. I still have, a fair amount of energy. I've always liked school, and I like young people. And I was praying like diligently about it. And it's not like I heard God's voice, but it sort of came to me very clearly while I was hiking. Basically, I understood, and this was during COVID. I kept hearing over and over again they couldn't find substitute teachers during COVID. And I thought, well, I could do that. So it just like came to me, and I felt like it came from God. I should go try to be a substitute teacher. It's not my background at all. And at the same time, I should pursue a degree to enhance my understanding of Christianity. So I did that as well. So I went back to the university at Franciscan University, but it was I would say, a direct result of prayer.
Hi guys, it's Leah. Recently, all the freshmen went on our first retreats. So, the freshman retreat was such a wonderful experience. As it was one of my first field trips here at Cristo Rey, I feel like I have grown such a bigger connection with my classmates. I don't know a lot of the kids that I don't have classes with, and I feel like in freshman retreat, with all the games we played and all the sports we played, I feel like I got to know more kids on how they're funny, or they're nice, or they're kind, or they're cooperative. And it was overall just a great experience of bonding, and I feel like after the field trip, we as a class have grown stronger and just made more connections. I enjoyed how much we talked about the Catholic faith, and I feel like I've really grown in my faith since the retreat after we talked about it. And I enjoyed a lot of the stories some of the teachers would give us and how they would answer our questions about like the Catholic faith and things they went through when they were teenagers. And overall, I feel like the freshman retreat is something that's so memorable and that I won't forget, and that when I'm a junior or senior or even graduated high school, I can still look back on.
So I applied through the Catholic schools, and I called several of them, and Cristo Rey right away called and said, "Can you be here tomorrow to take a tour?" I said yes, and I came here, and I loved it from right away. I've been doing it for almost 4 years. Started just doing a day here, a day there, and then I did 4 years ago, I did at the end when Mrs. Bauman was pregnant, I did the very end of school with freshman bio and AP bio, and then I've done a series of long-term after that. But it was really a long answer, but I'm sorry, but direct answer to prayer.
That's like
and that
really
held,
cool.
Yeah, that's held true for 4 years.
That's really cool. You're really educated.
I've spent a lot of time in school. Yes,
Yeah.
I've always liked school. I spent a lot of time.
Yeah, I'm guessing you enjoy learning?
I do. I love to learn. It's one of the reasons I like to teach, because like teaching algebra, so I won't tell you guys how long ago I did algebra, but it was a very long time ago. And so I kind of had to relearn it, right? So, but I like going back and relearning that and try to figure out how to explain it, but I love to learn. Yep.
So to elaborate on that, how did you get your PhD?
Yeah, a very good question, because initially my father had his PhD and he was encouraging me to go to graduate school, and I was, for various reasons, I didn't want to go to school at the time. And so I worked for 4 years after my bachelor's degree, and then figured out that I couldn't do what I was doing forever. So I went back to graduate school at Ohio State. We were living in Central Ohio, and did my master's at Ohio State, which is where I did my BS, and then went to the University of Minnesota for my PhD. And one of the things, it's kind of a little known thing for people who like school and think they want to go on, I was able to receive what they call fellowships. So my school was paid for, and I received, it wasn't a lot of money, but I received a small annual salary to do research or teach while I was working on my PhD. So financially, it worked out well. My wife was totally supportive. And she's a nurse, so she was able to find a job that supported the family.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
You must be like an actual genius.
No, I'm not even close to an actual genius. I could provide infinite proof of the fact that I'm not. So, yeah.
But a PhD is really hard to get.
It is mostly, it's kind of doing what good students do at every school. It's doing what you're supposed to do at the right time in a diligent manner. So it's more about desire and follow through than it necessarily is about brain power. So I think for people who love it, who like to learn and are willing to put in the work and the time and delay what feels like delaying some of your life, it's really not, but taking the time to do it. But it's really about hard work and just staying up with it.
Hi, Diary.
Hi, Cesar.
Caitlin already reminded us that next week is Halloween.
It sure is, but you want to know what's really scary?
What?
Bullying.
Ah!
October is National Bullying Prevention Month, so here's some advice on how to stamp out bullying for good. 1, if you're ever getting bullied, please tell a trusted adult.
2, if you're also getting bullied, you can also talk to friends that can help you with any problem that you have.
Do you feel better now?
Yes, I feel a lot better now. Sorry about the screaming.
That's okay.
All right.
Back to the show.
So why did you decide to retire from agronomy?
I had worked at the same company for 30 years, and I liked it, but I felt like it had kind of run its course. So I felt like I'd been there plenty long. The company had changed. We were purchased by another larger company. The culture had changed dramatically, not in a good way. And I knew I wanted to do something different. And I'd done it for so long, I didn't have any idea what that might be. So I took basically a year or two off and then ended up here after that. But I was, honestly, I guess a short way of saying it, I was kind of tired of it after 30 years.
What are some of like your hobbies or like certain things about you that you would want people to know that like maybe don't get brought up in school and stuff like that?
Yeah, so for hobbies, I love to read. So I love to read fiction. And so I started collecting books when I was like your guys' age. So I bought my first book for myself when I was 16. I bought myself a copy of Tale of Two Cities. I still have it. And so I've collected books from the time I was 16 and until now. So I love to read. I like anything outdoors. So I garden, as I said. We have a small orchard. I do all my wife and I do all our own yard work. I like to hike. And I like sports. So I love Ohio State football. So I'm very happy this time of year. Those are probably the big ones. And, time with my wife and I are blessed with two children who one's in town, the other's in Arizona, but spending time with them.
You're probably real happy because Ohio State's been doing
They're
good.
doing very well.
It's
Been
good.
Yes.
They're always really good.
They are always really good. Not all the fans realize.
If you had to choose something other than agronomy or substitute teaching, what would you do?
Like if I could go back and do something different all over.
Oh yeah.
That's an interesting question. One of the things I think about, which is kind of cool now because I'm doing it, but I think I could have had another path where I taught high school and coached baseball. So if I went down a completely different path because of my love for books, I think I would have enjoyed majoring in literature and then being like a high school English teacher and coaching baseball. Or if I went on a similar path, I would do it, not very interesting, but do a different kind of, do more like horticulture rather than agronomy. So apples, cherries, fruits, and those things.
I feel like you would make a good English teacher.
I don't know. We'll never know now.
Yeah.
But
And why baseball?
I just loved baseball. It was the sport that I loved the most and the one I feel like I knew enough about the game to coach it.
Hi guys, it's Kaylin again. This Saturday, October 25th, is Cristo Rey's newest fundraising event, the After School Soiree, held right here at the school. Guests will meet and speak with students while enjoying a festive atmosphere. This event will help raise money towards education costs, scholarships for students to attend CRC, college counseling programming, athletics, student success supports, spiritual retreats, and many other exciting things. A big thank you to all donors and volunteers, especially co-presenting sponsors Kimball Midwest and Dominican Sisters of Peace, who are helping to make this incredible event possible. Viva Cristo Rey!
How do you think your faith has shaped your life?
Yeah, and I wish I could talk, longer about my faith, but my faith is, I work every day to try to keep it central. I fail at that, but I was raised Presbyterian, but it wasn't like a deep part of the family life. And then through a family tragedy, I walked away from the church for 20 years. Very bad, in anger, because I won't go into it, but a bad thing happened in our family and I was mad at God. And it took another family tragedy for me to realize how mistaken I was. And so came back to the faith about 20 years later through another tragedy where I was given a great gift of grace by the Holy Spirit. And that was in 2002. And since then I've been, my wife and I both have been diligently working, pretty much every day on our faith. I wish I could say it does impact everything I did. It should, and I'm getting closer, but it's a constant strive to learn more, understand more, and combined with disappointment and failing, but keep moving forward.
You seem to be really diligent at school and like to learn. What advice would you give to students who maybe struggling with determination or burnout or things like that? Because I have before, and I know a lot of my friends have.
So it's interesting because the determination one is harder because one of the things I think I've learned is you can't really motivate other people. People are either motivated or not. And I think I can do a better part on the second part of your question about the burnout part, because I'm more likely, and my wife is more likely as well, to overdo things and get worn out. I don't think I struggle a lot with self-motivation or direction, but I struggle with trying to do too much and trying to figure out how to prioritize what I do so that I don't overcommit and, make mistakes or end up committing to things that I can't follow through on.
If you could give any advice to any students or kids who would want to follow the same path as you, what would you say?
So I'll make a few comments and you can clarify, but I would not say anyone should follow my path, right? Because God made us all in his own likeness and image, and we all should follow the path that God wants us on. But if you're asking more, like if someone wants to follow a path where you spend a lot of time in graduate school, that sort of thing, I think the main things for success in graduate school are doing, right now, doing a good job. It may not feel like it, but how you do in biology and algebra and chemistry in high school will impact how you do as an undergraduate. And if you do well here and you do well as an undergraduate, you can be in a position to go to graduate school. I know all of you, you're all good students. It's taking care of the daily business. It's doing what you're supposed to do every day. Not everybody can do it every day, but just kind of taking care of it and one step at a time. And very specifically for my own journey, after my bachelor's degree, I worked for 4 years and then was more motivated to go back to graduate school. So for me, time off in the workforce helped me know that I wanted to go back to graduate school and was more motivated.
Well, that's really cool.
Hi guys, it's all your senior podcast hosts, Cesar and Dari again.
Plus Liam.
Hello, guys.
On the September 24th, all the seniors went on a college visit, and we're here to tell you about our experience. I went to the College of Worcester, and honestly, I really loved it. I loved the family that they are, the bond that they all have, and the one thing that really stood out to me first was something that they called the Independent Work Project. It's where all the seniors go out and they have this final project of what they do. They could do service, they could do a performance, they could do a lot of things to kind of end off their year at the College of Worcester. And I 100% loved it.
My college experience was in Denison University. Here, Denisonians explained to us what it's like to be in Denison, as well as we saw the unique architecture and technology provided, and unique careers and opportunities. Here we also found many Cristo Rey students. Well, for me, I found 2, but many others people said they found more. Here, they talked about what it's like to be in Denison as well as how Cristo Rey has helped them get to the level they needed to be in Denison, and how we can use those resources that Cristo Rey gives us. It was really fun, and the food was really good too. I do recommend the food in Denison. I recommend that anybody that has the time to go to Denison, you should really visit. It's really worth it.
So I visited the College of Worcester. They had a beautiful campus with a very unusual type of squirrel that has black fur, which is not commonly seen in Columbus. Afterwards, we played a admissions game where we got to see how they take into account multiple factors of admission before either rejecting, accepting, or even waitlisting some students. Afterwards, we had a nice lunch in one of their dining halls, where I ate entirely too much, before we finally returned home on the buses.
So Cristo Rey has a lot to offer for students and subs and teachers. What's your favorite thing about Cristo Rey?
It's being with the students. So I wish and I always tell the students this, it's not every minute of it, because you guys, all of you aren't fun all of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we know that.
But and I love the staff, I love the teachers. So it's the people part. So that's what I love about it.
No, it's really funny because every single time I ask somebody what's their favorite thing about this Cristo Rey, they almost always say the students. They almost always say
It's
that.
because we're the best.
Yeah.
Best. Are the best. Yeah.
Or they say the building because it's shaped like a castle. A lot of people say it looks like a castle.
It's a very cool building. Yes.
Yeah.
It's a very nice building.
Have you had any favorite student interactions here? Because you said your favorite part is the students.
You mean other than the ones with the 4 of you?
Oh yes. Other than us, because we know you want to say us, because we're the best students. But
Obviously. But we'll give the other students
besides the goat, besides us,
Exactly. I could think of some specific, very funny ones that I chuckle to myself about that I won't share. And then I think what I value the most is just as an example. So I started doing long-term subs 4 years ago, so with this year's senior class. And what I've enjoyed probably the most is I had a lot of them in freshman bio who are now seniors. And I've had most of them in some form or fashion every year. So we've kind of grown up in Cristo Rey together a little bit. So that's probably my favorite part, is watching how much people change from freshman year to senior year in high school. There's so many students here that I've learned to grow and love and respect over the years. That's my favorite thing.
Yeah, because I really enjoyed seeing you ever since my freshman year.
Well, I
You're
enjoy
really
seeing
cool.
you.
You provided a lot of help.
Well,
Like, I'm so glad you had the science background and things like that, because you like gave really good like advice and like help on like worksheets and stuff.
that's good. Thank you.
Hi guys, it's Leah again. Wait, did you hear that? What is that? Hiding in the shadows? It's coming closer. Closer! Oh no! It's Drama Club's latest play, The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, the spine-chilling classic tale of the Headless Horseman riding into town Halloween weekend. Performances are 6 p.m. October 30th, 6 p.m. October 31st, and 5 p.m. November 1st, right here at the school. Tickets are $5 for students and $10 for everyone else. It's going to be a great show. I should know. I'm the stage manager, and several of your other podcast hosts are going to get involved too. Kathleen is helping behind the scenes, and Vivian, Riley, and Asiatu are in the cast, so you don't want to miss it. You're not scared, are you?
So you've given us some really good advice, but if you had to go back to your teenager self, what advice would you give him, and how would you motivate him?
I think, like, looking back through my high school years, the greatest blessing actually is I met my wife in high school, so we dated all through high school. So I wouldn't redo anything there. She would probably tell me I should redo some things. I was very active, especially in sports. Back when I was in school, they encouraged people to play multiple sports, but I played football and wrestled and baseball throughout high school.
Oh,
and
wow.
I was more dedicated to sports than I was to school. And some of the classes I was able to, kind of do B+ work without a ton of effort. But I would go back, especially in some classes, and just spend a little more time doing homework and, pay a little bit more attention in school. So I did fine in school. But if I wasn't interested, I didn't always do my homework. I didn't always prepare for tests like I should have.
Oh, well, thank you for saying that. No, but that's actually so real. Because, like, sometimes when classes are, like, easy for me, like, I won't, like, focus as much as I should, But it's always good to put in that effort, even if it, like, comes easy to you. Because, like, there might be one day where it doesn't. But, like, thanks for that advice. That's good advice.
The other thing I think I would do is, I was blessed with very good parents. And I would probably, and they knew how much I appreciated them, but maybe through the high school years especially, because they had 4 children. We were only 6 years apart, so they had a lot going on for a long time. But maybe, be a little more appreciative of mom and dad and the family I came from. Because I didn't know how good my family was until I went to college and found out not everybody was blessed with as good a family as what I grew up with and took for granted a little bit.
So what is one final thing you'd like to say?
Be nice to your teachers.
Yeah, guys, don't bully your teachers.
I hate those type of people who are mean to their teachers.
No, for no reason.
Or their bus drivers.
A lot of them are just like mean
Be
for
nice
no
to the
reason.
bus
It's
driver,
like,
too.
that's weird. I don't know. I don't get that. That's
Exactly.
weird. They're just trying to help you. They're doing their best.
Yeah.
Unless it's me, guys.
Yeah.
Okay, Vivian.
Sometimes I
I'm
feel
joking,
like-
guys. I'm not like that. Just so you know, I'm not like that.
Okay.
Thank you for meeting with us, Mr. Buehler. We learned a lot from you. You're really smart, and you gave us a lot of really good advice. But thank you, Cougars, for listening. We hope to see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Podcast. This is the Cristo Rey Podcast. The Cristo Rey Podcast.
1, 2, buckle my shoe. 3, 4, close the door. 5, 6. Oh, hello. You look nice. Will you be my friend? I am a creepy little girl, and I want you to listen to the Cristo Rey Podcast Halloween Special. It comes out next Friday. You'd better listen or you'll make me so sad. You'll make me cry, and then I won't want to play with you anymore. You do want to play with me? Don't you? Don't you?